Have you ever started a landscape painting feeling really excited about it, only to get halfway through and suddenly feel completely overwhelmed? You start chasing one tree, then another, then a patch of grass, then a few rocks. Before you know it, you've spent 20 minutes painting one tiny corner of the canvas, and somehow the painting as a whole is getting worse instead of better. If that sounds familiar, I don't think the problem is your brushwork or your color mixing. I think it's that nobody ever taught you the most important skill in landscape painting: how to simplify. Because unlike portraits or still life, landscapes throw an overwhelming amount of information at you. And until you learn how to filter all that information into something simple and intentional, landscape painting is always going to feel harder than it should. All right, welcome to Paint Coach. If you're new to the channel, my name's Chris Fornatero, and I'm here to help you get better at oil painting faster. All right, so we got the photo and my painting here. So the first thing I like to ask myself is, one, what do I like about this scene? And what I like is I really like this water and I like the light that's happening in the shadows. But a better question to ask is, why do you like it? I feel like understanding that question is going to help you so much more. And it's a lot easier said than done. I struggled with this stuff for a very long time. And you have to understand certain painting fundamentals to know why you like something. And so what I always like to do, the things that I look for in a landscape, the things that indicate to me that this landscape will work. The first thing is clear shapes. And this, I mean, very clear light and shadow shapes here. Like, really like that, especially if you squint your eyes. I mean, I know that you got these trees and everything up here, but you got a shape there. It's just very easy to know what's in light and what's in shadow. Seeing clear shapes, it's gonna make it a lot easier to paint. Doesn't mean that you can't paint a scene where the shapes aren't clear. It's just gonna take a lot more of this skill of simplifying and your ability to translate. But when I see something else, I'm like, ooh, I like those shapes. Another thing I like to think about or look for are the lines created by those shapes. And it's like, I got a line there. Ooh, got this, shorelines are always great. Like, it's great lead-ins. So I got a nice line there. Got another line there. That's a line. This kind of light that's coming in here. You got a tree if you want to keep that. That's a line. And then I guess back here, you got a line there. And so I'm like, okay, I got these lines of the scene. Are they leading to any kind of natural focal point or anything that's kind of lending itself to a focal point? I always look for that too. And I mean, you got all this green and then you got this orangish red, light preserver on there. And it's just like screaming to be a focal point. Red is green's complement. I mean, I know this is orange, but it's leaning towards red. And so I'm like, ooh, I like that. I like how it's lit up with sun. It's surrounded. If you kind of look at it, it's surrounded by all this dark. And probably the main thing that can create or make something be a focal point is that it's the area of highest contrast, meaning it's the one, if not very few areas where a lightest light and darkest dark touch. So I'm also thinking about that as well. I'm like, okay, got a focal point. That's leading to my focal point. My focal point's not dead center. That's also good. My focal point's not like on the edge of the canvas or something. It's like, okay, that's good. And so the next thing I do is I think about it in terms of values. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So what I like to do is I like to try and break the scene down into 3 values: dark, a mid-tone, and a light. And it's almost kind of like a puzzle. And so I think, okay, what if, this here, we'll say this is a mid-tone, and then that's going to be a dark, and then our light will be right there for our focal point. So let's kind of put that in there. And so I got to think to myself, okay, which one of these 3s do I need to make these shapes? And so then I can start making decisions here too, like this little piece of grass here. Let's just get rid of that. We don't need that. That's getting in the way. Because as I'm doing this, I think I'm thinking about is, what is getting in the way? Like, what is keeping this from working? And the fact that I know what I want this painting to be about, what I like, is that I like, this water. I have my focal point, and having the focal point is really important because that is your North Star. Like, everything needs to be supporting that. Nothing should be taking information away from it. If you have to move something or add a line or something, make sure it's all kind of coordinated to get the viewer's eye there. And so I think, okay, like this grass in the shadow. It's like, okay, well, let's just lump this in with the dark. Same here. So I have to start making decisions here, and I have to think, okay, what do I want to do, with this area right here? And it's like, okay, I don't know, it's just too much going on in the corner. What if I just simplify it, which you can see I did in the painting. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna simplify that. I still want that light coming in on the grass. And again, I'm gonna group that as a midtone. Gonna get rid of that fence. I know the fence is cool, but gonna have to just get rid of it. And now the big question with, everything that's going on back here. Like, what am I gonna do with all this? Am I going to get this to read? I mean, it's such a little part of the canvas. Do I really need to like slave over this and like figure it out and everything? It's like, no, like the painting's not about this little corner. This is it. I don't want to take attention away. It's like, what would be ideal? Ideal would be like if I could just make this all dark. That would be great, because then it just keep the viewer's eye down here. And so I think, okay, what can I do? And you can see what I ended up doing is I just kind of made that a wall of trees. But my decision was based on getting the viewer's eye to the focal point. It's the most important thing. So got this, I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. Now, because I know about composition enough, I can say, okay, I got a lot of like horizontals here. It's just a lot of horizontal lines. I'm like, it'd be nice if there's a vertical pointing to the focal point. Well, I mean, it's kind of lost now in the photo, but there was like blue reflected, bits of sky, which you can see is what I did here. I was like, ooh, that could be cool. What if I kind of put like a, little bit of sky peeking through right there, and maybe some right there. And these are just ways I could even go to the light. I don't want to make it look too choreographed, but it's like, okay, that's working. That's helping us drive our eye there. I like that. I didn't have to change that much. I used what's there. And okay, maybe put some little bits of dappled light kind of back here. Again, choreographed, pointing. These are pointing that way, right to our focal point. When you see like little bits of dappled light like that, like I did here, it's not by accident, it's for a reason. So that's the plan. This is what I call like a value map. It's just breaking down the composition to 3 values and making sure that your painting's gonna work before you actually break out the paints and start painting. So now that we've figured out, now that we have simplified, let's move on to the next stage, which is actually painting it. And I'm gonna talk about how I simplify while I'm painting. All right, before we move on to the tutorial, I'm just gonna let you know that if you really want to get better at landscapes, there's probably nothing you can do that will help you get better faster than taking my Landscape Painting 101 course. I've literally had over 1,000 students go through it with amazing results. It breaks landscape painting down into a way you can actually understand and implement on your own painting. There's no time limit on the course, and you can go through it whenever you like, as many times as you like. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. All right, right from the beginning, I'm breaking the scene down into that value map. Just 3 simple values: a dark, a midtone, and a light. I didn't bother wiping out the tiny area where the focal point would be because it's so small that I know I can paint it over later. At this stage, my goal is simply to simplify everything into big, flat shapes. To help keep myself from getting caught up in details, I'm using a really large brush. I think this is a number 8 brush on a 9x10 inch panel. A big brush forces you to think in terms of big masses instead of little objects. And that's exactly what I want right now. This is actually the first stage of the Paint Coach method of oil painting, which is built off what I call the 3 S's of oil painting: simplify, shape, and sharpen. In the simplified stage, all I'm trying to do is fill the canvas with large shapes of flat color. I'm not thinking about details, edges, or texture yet. As I move from the trees to the grass to the bank, I'm constantly comparing colors. There are a lot of different greens in this scene, but they are not all the same. The grass that's sitting in shadow is cooler than the trees in shadow. The grass in the light is lighter and a little warmer, so I push a little more yellow into that mixture. When I get to the water, I know it's a much muddier green. It's dark, murky water, so I knock the color back by adding more of green's complement, which is red. Again, I'm not worrying about reflections or ripples yet. I'm just trying to establish one simple shape of color that reads like water. Everything is relative, so I'm always comparing. The water in the light needs to be lighter than the shadows, but it also needs to stay more subdued than the bright grass. Every mixture is being judged against the one next to it. Once the entire canvas is covered, I stop and ask a simple question. Is the light working? Does everything that's supposed to be in the shadow feel like it's in shadow? Does everything that's supposed to be in light actually feel like it's in light? If the answer is yes, then the simplified stage has been done. Now it's time to move on to the shape stage. This is where I start adding more values with those big shapes and refining the edges. I usually like to begin in the darks, so I go into the bank and add a slightly lighter value with a little more color to start giving it form. The edges are just as important as the values, in the water especially. I want things to feel fluid, so I soften those shadowed edges instead of leaving them hard. I also notice a slightly yellower green along those edges, so I work that color in while everything is still wet. One of the nice things about painting this way is that nothing is locked in. As I'm working, I decide I actually want the water and the light to be a little bit lighter, so I push it lighter. I also cool the water slightly in the distance with a little more blue to help create depth. At this point, it's time for the focal point. Now, my paint is getting a little thicker so I can place it on top of what's already there. My brushstrokes become much more deliberate because this is where I want the viewer's eye to land. Painting the dock, making sure the light side is the lightest area in the painting. Then I establish the reflections in the light and shadow on the posts so they feel three-dimensional. Next comes the buoy. I start with the dark side and then gradually build into lighter values where the light is hitting it before adding the reflections underneath. The nice thing about putting the focal point in now is that I can finally judge the rest of the painting against it. Once I know where I want the eye to go, every decision becomes easier. I can ask, does this help lead the viewer there or does it distract from it? So I'm still in the shape stage, making adjustments. This perfectly straight edge in the grass feels artificial, so I break it up. I bring a little of the shoreline up into the grass, add some dappled light into the shadows, deepen a few of the distant tree bases, and continue looking for ways to gently guide the viewer toward the dock. Then I work some of the sky reflections into the water. Because everything is still wet, I can let the colors mix together naturally and create those soft, fluid transitions that make the water feel believable. The reflection gets a little lighter as it moves into the light, but I'm careful not to overdo it. One thing that's important to understand is that I'm not trying to copy every reflection I see in the reference. There's actually a lot more sky reflected in the photo than I'm painting. My goal isn't accuracy, it's designing a painting that leads your eye to the focal point. Finally, I move into the sharpen stage. This is where I add the finishing touches. A few carefully placed details, small adjustments to values and edges, little refinements that help clarify the focal point. Nothing dramatic is happening anymore. The heavy lifting has already been done during the simplify and shape stages. In fact, one of my last adjustments is simply using my finger to soften an edge in the water. Sometimes those tiny changes are all the painting needs to come together. All right, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see what I'm painting on a daily basis. You can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.